Horror is more than jump scares and gore, and today I'm going to give you my best tips, a few resources, and choice monsters so you can bring just the right amount of spooky to your adventures in Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frostmaiden, or any Dungeons & Dragons 5e session. Let's do this. Hi, Bob here, and welcome to Bob World Builder, where together we learn how to have more fun playing D&D. So hit that subscribe button for DM guides every Wednesday under your subscriptions tab. And to get us a little closer to our goal of 10,000 subscribers before November 17th to unlock the first giveaway copy of Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Entry details linked below, where you'll also find a link to our particularly Lovecraftian DM's Guild sponsor, When Madness Calls, which we'll check out a little later in the video. First, the most important step you can take to set a horrific tone, or any tone, in your game is to ask your players how they feel about this theme during your session 0 or just before the game if it's a one-shot. You have to ask them, what's fun scary and what's not fun? Specifically, what does horror look like to you? Or more literally, what scares you? The dark, spiders, pale girls with long hair crawling around, that shadow in the corner of your basement that looks way too much like a person so you just go upstairs and pretend you didn't see it? Maybe anthropomorphic owl-faced gods who keep the sun from rising with dark elder magic. Or just being on camera in front of presumably a lot of people. So to effectively creep out your players without going too far, you can also establish a discreet look or signal that means, please stop, in case they wouldn't be comfortable enough to say it. Because our goal is always to keep it fun. So talk to your players, check out my video about what else you should do in a session 0, and then download the free checklist from my Patreon, where patrons will also be able to download a one-page PDF summary of each Icewind Dale DM guide for easy reference during your game. This one including some spooky descriptive words, because now that we've set the tone, we need to set the scene itself. And language is our primary tool as dungeon masters to create images in our players' imaginations. So for efficiency, it's great to use words that signal more than one thing. Like bone-chilling, which evokes feelings of cold and fear. Perfect for Icewind Dale. Hair-raising, which is like exciting and frightening with the literal effect of giving you goosebumps, which is awesome because it's also crucial to use words that tap into all of our senses. Icy, frigid, glacial, numbing, burning, dark, bleak, obscure, dour, twilight, biting, incisive, dull, thrashing, aching, sour, rancid, acrid, putrid, fetid, etc. But to really set the scene, you need the right music, because dim candle lighting is great. Crafting physical props is awesome if you have the time, but whatever your method, music is the best way to steer your players' emotions and create a particular feeling for a scene. It's pretty easy to upload your own MP3s to Roll20, and I know just playing some eerie ambient sounds from YouTube works just fine at my table. But my favorite audio resource, specifically made for use in tabletop games, is the wonderfully named website Tabletop Audio. Ice Throne from the homepage works really well for Icewind Dale, as do the Dying World, Barren Wastes, and the Sea of Moving Ice tracks. And my custom sound pad called Icewind Dale Tracks. For some reason the link takes you here, so just click the name on the right to find 16 sound effects and music tracks with preset scenes for travel, caves, and combat. Link in the description and in the Patreon reference PDF. And if you're getting value out of this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. It really helps me out. Thanks. Now before we get into my quick tips for spooky locations and the best D&D monsters for your horror sessions, let's take a turn into the Eldritch and Arcane. Call of Cthulhu is pretty much the world's second favorite RPG, where you play human investigators, not heroes, so with no special powers unless they learn some magic which can very easily make them go mad. The game capitalizes on the character's unhealthy curiosity to discover dark and dangerous truths, like many of H.P. Lovecraft's stories. For example, the Call of Cthulhu. And if you're like me, curious about this game but no time to play it, I highly recommend you check out When Madness Calls by Isaac Mundagi and Cheetah AF. This D&D 5e one-shot sends a 6th-level party to the remote village of Croftvale, looking for the infamous author Hubert Pierre Lorentz. It's set in the Desserin Valley just east of Phandalin, but the village can easily be mapped onto one of the smaller 10 towns of Icewind Dale, particularly Caer Dineval, which already has a devil-worshipping cult. And like any good horror story, When Madness Calls focuses around and within a singular location, H.P. Lorentz's mansion, which has been taken over by an order of arcanists secretly trying to summon the elder god Tharizdun, with Lorentz himself as a sacrifice. I love the artwork and layout, and the concise writing, fitting this adventure into 20 pages, makes it easy to prep. When Madness Calls really plays out like a love letter to Lovecraft's lore, and you can check it out now through the affiliate links below, if you dare. Nah, but it really does help the channel too, so thanks again. Alright, now these quick tips for locations really are quick. 1. Turn out the lights. We mentioned controlling your actual lighting to set the scene, but the permanent dim light or darkness of Icewind Dale is perfect for making your characters think they saw a shadow beneath the ice, or gleaming eyes in the blustery snow. And now that they're in the dark, you have to get them on their toes. 2. Box them in. Consider the Mines of Moria. All good stories have points of no return where the heroes are forced to face uncertain dangers. But horror stories often do this early on without the characters knowing until it's too late. 10 towns are already very isolated, but you can use a blizzard to seal the cave they're in, or a swarm of strange creatures to block the road ahead. Just maybe let your rules lawyer know it's only part of the mystique, so everyone can embrace the illogical. Randomly throw in changes of temperature, gravity, and even weather indoors. The arrangement of a dungeon can shift as the party explores it. The characters might suddenly feel angry, sad, or hungry, or experience hallucinations without a saving throw. These inexplicable phenomena remind your heroes at any level that there are more powerful forces in control, and some of them might be on this list of monsters. But remember, monsters are not stat blocks. Monsters are the things that go bump in the night, the horrible and fantastic creatures that humans have conjured to explain strange phenomena and tell better stories. So keep them mysterious and unknowable. Never, ever, ever name your monsters during gameplay. Describe their smells and sounds, and change their appearances a little so your friends who also DM won't be sure what they're up against. And use monsters that are a little too powerful for the group, so they'll be desperately looking for creative solutions which you need to go along with to keep them alive, but barely. Or not if it's just a one-shot. So zombies are a personal favorite that are a little lame in D&D because they're driven by necromancy rather than a terrifying contagious disease. Fortunately, the Cold Light Walkers of Icewind Dale turn this around. These evil undead were victims of extreme cold and are cursed to wander the frozen tundra, blinding unlucky travelers and freezing them solid to prevent their resurrection. But I would have their victims rise as new Cold Light Walkers. And the Shardland Berserkers are another better zombie, because while they're not technically undead, their frostbitten bodies certainly bring an element of horror, and characters who claim one of these strange Shardland weapons can succumb to the same icy madness. Another classic, vampires, are pretty great in D&D. So this is just a quick shout out to Tekeli Lee, the starved gnoll who was granted terrible immortality by the Frostmaiden, and who will stalk your party in the caves of hunger with its cackling laughter echoing through the tunnels of ice. And let's get real, D&D lycanthropes should not be immune to all bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical attacks that aren't silvered. Resistance to such attacks and vulnerability to silver would better fit the lore, and lycanthropy should pretty much turn your character into a monstrous NPC rather than giving them even more superpowers. But the Goliath polar werebear of Icewind Dale, Oya Minartok, makes a solid ally, and any beasts with human intelligence or strange ferocity are always awesome for horror scenes. This applies to crag cats with their human-like scream, creepy possessed dolls, blights, and even awakened plants, and the many awakened beasts of Icewind Dale, although the writers really seem to miss an opportunity with the white hare introduced in this module. See Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Some honorable mentions are the Tomb Tapper, just look at that thing, Bone Claws, which reincarnate hours after being slain, Dybbuk's, which twist undead bodies in all the wrong ways, the Oblex, and really any intelligent ooze, any of the Sorrowsworn, but especially the creepy little mouth one, the Balhanoth, which physically warps a location to appear as one sought by a nearby intelligent creature, and the Allup, which is created when a humanoid learns a horrific, unknowable truth that man was not meant to know and seeks forever to pass on this terrible knowledge. And while Oriel's 3 forms are each horrific in their own special way, the one monster guaranteed to create an underlying sense of unease for your party is the Mimic, and the acid-spitting Mimic of Icewind Dale is just the icing on this aberrant cake. So remember to check out When Madness Calls, available now, and this guide PDF available next week to all patrons like Churchwarden, Dave, Yvonne, Matt, Ole, Derek, and Philip who just joined this week. Thank you for your support, and keep building.